podcast because I could fucking use one.
Yeah.
There we go. Ready?
Are all the recorded enables on all the tracks going, Nicole? Okay. Recording? All right.
All right.
We're here. Holy shit. Nicole, I don't even know what episode is this now? Do you know? I think it's 18.
Yeah, I think so.
I think it's 18. I should have looked that up before we started, but
Well,
it's just we're getting into it with the boys. It's been the first podcast in a little while for Cocktails and the Chords, so I'm hoping I'm not rusty for you guys. But
forget how to talk.
you guys will warm me up though. My boys are in here. Wake the Nile. We got Dom Turturelli and Don Serwada. I'm gonna try. I don't know if I've ever said your last name.
Give it a shot.
Serwada.
That's it, man.
Serwada. Okay.
Yeah.
Don Serwada, Dom Turturelli, the boys.
The boys.
Some of my best homies.
Didn't work.
Happy you guys could come on.
Happy to be here, man.
I'm gonna just start with the usual question though. This gets us warm, and I'll let Don answer it because you're a repeat guest. But why the old fashioned today, Don? Why are we drinking some old fashions? Talk to me.
Low key is like the only cocktail I really know how to make, like without any like recipe instructions.
Right.
So, like
on.
I know what to expect, how it's supposed to taste.
Yes.
And
Yes.
by the way, Mom, if you're watching this, that's like juice. Also, how are you even here right now? But you know.
Where's Mom watching from? Where would she be watching from?
She'd be watching from somewhere in Uganda, probably.
In Uganda.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Do they even have Instagram? I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. They do. They do.
Hey, you could make. Hey, if it were me making that
I'm
joke,
allowed.
it might
I'm
be
allowed.
different. All right, it might be different. But I think you can make that joke, and
I know.
that's
Cheers, Mom.
totally fine. Hey, cheers, guys.
Hey, all right.
We're out here doing it. I think this is our second podcast
We got
of
to
the year.
do it in front of the microphone for the ASMR.
Oh yeah.
We'll sample that one.
Oh, there you go.
There we
You
go.
want one of them, right?
Oh yes.
I've been on a big ASMR kick today.
Have you really?
Well, the Tic Tacs were the start, and I was.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
we're doing
all
we're doing
right,
it.
all right, okay. Dom thinks it's his second time on the podcast, which congratulations. It's you're the first repeat guest on the pod.
Let's go.
But he thinks he could come on since it's his second time on and just bullshit around. He thinks he can just mess around.
Yeah, that's dumb.
But that's what we do on the podcast anyway. So it's okay. I'll let it slide. But so Uganda,
Yeah,
you grew up there, right?
I did. Sure
Okay.
did. Yeah.
And then you moved here. I know we've talked about this before, but it's such a cool story. So I'm like, we should talk about it today.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah. You moved here at what age to the States?
I think I was like 18.
Okay.
Yeah. I was
Just
like,
in time.
for real. Okay, low key though, I feel like I moved here just in time because any younger, and I feel like I would not have had like the same experience because Uganda. I mean, obviously, I need not say it, but like a different world.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
So either you get immersed in it young, or you have some like perspective on life, and then you build on that. And I was kind of right smack dab in the middle of it, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, shit. Humble beginnings over here.
Yeah,
Shit,
for real,
dude.
yeah.
I mean, like culture shock. What was that like? Like coming here.
Dog, the
to
story
the
I always
States?
tell about this is my very first time. So when I came to the U.S., I came for college, right? So like graduated high school, you know, did a little search. Where am I going to go to college? Little sidetrack. I was supposed to go to Florida to a flight school down
Dom
there.
over there. Shit.
Yeah. But the college that I was looking into gave me a spring placement, and my dad was like, "No, hurry up and get the fuck out of my house."
Yeah.
And I wanted to start in the fall, so I was like, "Yeah, sure." So we looked around and found another place in Longview, Texas.
So
Yeah,
random.
yeah.
So random.
Yeah.
Wow.
I won't even mention that college. I'm just kidding. Little bit of bad blood there.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
I
Those
mean, it's
who
always
know
the
know.
hometown, dude. I get it.
A little
Yeah.
trouble with Goose and Maverick at the flight academy.
I was about to say, I don't think I
know.
could live in Longview and not get into trouble there either.
I've never been.
So-
I don't think I've ever been. What part? That's north, right?
That's East Texas.
oh,
That's
yeah.
in,
Literally like an hour away from Shreveport, so like close to the border of Louisiana.
Louisiana. Yeah.
So anyway, the first time I landed in Texas, in Dallas, DFW airport, the first thing that hit me was, because this is summertime, right?
Yeah.
The first thing that hit me was and this kind of sounds crazy, but I could see so many legs and asses.
Oh, yeah.
Like where I'm from, like in Uganda, like you don't see that ever. Like women dress like very modestly, conservatively, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And because it's summertime here, people don't want to be burning up, but like, so it hit me immediately. Like there's no sense of like, well, there is, but like it's not like as extreme. There's no sense of like, oh, like my skin is for my husband type shit. Like it's like, people will just like, I'm hot, so I'm gonna wear hot pants, like because it's summertime. But I was like, oh my god, all these women are just like, and like young girls. I was like, lewdly dressed, and it hit me immediately, like, oh, this is a freaking different world.
Wow.
Man. Yeah.
Well, I mean, yeah, I feel like I take that for granted. Just like I like the view. I like the view a little bit
straight
over
up.
here.
Enjoy that
I like
shit.
the view from Austin.
No,
Shit.
yeah. If you found yourself in Kampala, the capital of Uganda, you would never see any. I'm kidding. Yeah.
Is it like so? Like would you see dudes or would dudes wear jeans?
Yeah, constantly.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean it's hot
like
as fuck
jeans.
down there too.
Okay.
Right? So it's like you're not really like they're not doing it for the sake of like comfort. It's purely just to be like, okay, I'm in public, so I'm not gonna show out.
Yeah.
I don't know. And it's not even showing out here. It's like just, I guess in a sense, we're a more puritanical culture.
Yeah.
So it's like the ladies have to be like, if I can see above your knees, you're for the streets or whatever.
Oh, for the streets.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's not my opinion. I just
No, that's just the culture.
That's just the culture.
That's
Yeah,
how it is.
Yeah.
And it's kind of funny when you think like about cultures and how different that can be when it's the same year, around the world, same time around the world.
Yep.
And then when you think of like different times in different cultures, and it's like that's kind of just how it was, It's like, and we think about some of that, which. I mean, we don't even need to go. You could use your imagination, but like some of the culture of the '60s, or that our grandparents or even our parents grew up in. You hear about some of the things that they did and like how they experienced it. I'm just like, God damn, man.
Yeah, I'm sure you've seen those time lapses of like the progression of like swimming or bathing suits. Yeah.
Oh,
it's like like they used to straight up wear like a shirt and like pants, and then progressively that became like a smaller shirt and smaller pants, and then and then now it's basically like a string covering like
I go
down to Florida. You can see.
I like the G-string thing that's going on right now with swimsuits in general. I'm a fan.
Are those back?
Did they
ever go away?
I think I think that they're slowly becoming the thing.
I wouldn't know.
I think that's going to be more and more and more and more normal. I mean, today, you still get the occasional Karen covering up the kid's eyes, like, "Don't look, she's got she's got cheeks out, don't cover your eyes, Billy." But I think that's becoming more a societal norm. That it depends. I mean, I'm sure some places in the United States probably not so keen on that, but
forward. Dom's like, I ordered my G-string yesterday.
I don't know what you guys are talking about.
I'm getting ready for summer, dude.
Yeah,
like,
summer's coming. Sun's out, buns out.
There it is. Now that is the one that always gets me, is the man wearing the Speedo, right?
Okay, yeah.
Really, and it's kind of a European thing, right?
Oh, it's a super.
It's very
European
much a European thing.
Yeah.
So I
let
don't
it fly,
know.
homeboy. Just let it fly, bro.
There's part of me that's like, okay, like we don't want to see all that, bro. But then there's part of me that's like, good for you, bro. You know what I mean? Like good for you, dog. Like you're more bold than I am. You know what I mean?
You can't horn dog out on a girl on a G-string and then be like, "You can't wear that Speedo here." It's just
no, exactly. That's what I'm saying.
You gotta let the girls. They have to enjoy the view as well. I mean, they probably enjoy the same G-string views, but I think that you gotta let it fly, brother.
No,
Go get you one.
He's like,
no, I'll never tell someone what they are or aren't gonna wear at the pool. But sometimes I'm just like, huh. But like I said, I might be jealous, and I'm not, I'm not the one, to say, oh, it's some. I like to recognize when I'm being jealous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it because I do. Sometimes I remember, especially when I was in my like early 20s, playing in a band, and there was like a little bit of competition amongst like the local bands.
Oh yeah.
And it was be like, oh yeah, this band's so cool or whatever, and I'd be like, they're all right. You know what I mean? You know what I mean?
Just hating for no reason.
Shit for no reason, dude. And you kind of gotta. I think I think it is part of just maturing and getting older, of being like, okay, yeah, that was just. I was jealous of whatever the success they were having as like. As
they
a
didn't
band
say
or
that
whatever.
about my band. They only said it about that band. I'm not cool with that. Some shit like that.
What I never.
They didn't say my band kicks ass.
What are you guys' thoughts? And this is just random. This is just popping in my head right now. What are you guys' thoughts on like a battle of the bands or like an American Idol? Is there a difference between like a singing or band competition? And what I don't know. Would y'all ever do a show like that?
No, I don't like the Battle of the Bands thing. I think it's pivotal for like the younger groups. I see it, like a lot of the high school, early college days, like those kind of things, like giving people a platform from a younger spot. And I think they should have mentorship programs for these kind of things. I don't think it should be a bunch of 38-year-old guys competing against each other. Yeah. I think it should be people like 21 and under. I'm okay with that. Once you get a little bit older, you're like, guys, I don't quite think this is necessary. And you're old enough to book your own shows and make fans and sell your own tickets. But when you're at an age where you don't really know what you're doing, and you get this, that's that hype. The flyer comes out and you're showing it to all your friends, and you're taping it up in the hallways of your school, and shit like that is fun. And I hope that it provides, like I said, the people who are putting these things on aren't just money grabbing, which oftentimes that is what it is.
Totally.
It's an easy way to throw an event, not pay any single person, call it a contest, and then everybody who comes, they just take all their money for their $15 tickets. And then they crown the winner, but then there's all this, there's the subjective, nature of like judging a group of artists. And if one does just as well, but the crowd went louder because it was more of their friends who showed,
Yeah. I think that's what gets me with it all, is the subjectivity of it all.
Yeah.
And like,
who are you to say that our band wasn't as good?
And I also always think about think of a band like, I don't know, like Rage Against the Machine or something. If Zach De La Rocha, is that his name? Zach De La Rocha. If he went on American Idol, they'd be like, what the no, you suck. You know what I mean? But it's like, but then you get Rage Against the Machine when you get Rage Against the Machine. And it's like, to me, I don't know, it's just kind of weird. And that's not to say it doesn't have its place. You know what I mean? And it could be really great for some people. But I've always kind of just been like, the whole judging it and saying what's good or what's bad is kind of weird to me.
Yeah, and I think, I'm okay with the big competitions, like the global or national, broadcast competitions such as American Idol or the Voice or America's Got Talent and all those. I think with that. Number one, the judges are people who have actually gone out there and made it. Most of the time, they're people who are like, they're fantastic.
I don't know what the fuck that Simon guy did, though. I mean, let's be real.
I think he was a talent recruit, right? He was the guy who put a lot of those people on.
He's just been a judger, though. The whole time.
Sure. But I think in a lot of those competitions, they make the people vote too, like the viewers.
Yeah. For sure.
You can't do a battle. I mean, you could live stream a battle of the bands and say everybody, put your vote in the comments. But at the end of the day, you've got Joe Schmo, guy who was the captain of his high school marching band, and he's the guy judging these 17-year-old kids. That's a different perspective from me as far as, Christina Aguilera or who are some of the other ones?
Randy Jackson.
Katy Perry.
I might be mixing shows like this.
exactly.
Katy Perry.
I don't know. There's like that country guy.
Yeah, Luke Bryan, right? Luke Bryan.
Yeah.
And then Lionel Richie.
Lionel Richie. Some of these people they've done really
Yeah.
relatively prestigious things with their music careers
For sure.
because they are very talented. And we let the American people vote or the world, depending on what kind of broadcast it is. So
Totally.
a little different. And those artists are getting much more public eye appeal than the 40 people who paid $10 to come see you at the State Theater or whatever the name of the venue is. It's always some like metal space or something.
Yeah. Well, this is kind of getting me. The wheels are turning, guys. Hold on.
Okay.
What if what if, or it could be we started a TV show where it was like an American Idol or like America's Got Talent or whatever, but it's legit a battle of the bands.
Okay.
But it's like a nationally broadcasted TV show.
Ooh. So how do you
Could
judge
that
it?
be? I feel like that could be successful. I don't know.
It could be. I mean, my main misgiving about all those shows is like, you've talked about it, like how they get judged, right? So like, if it's like a noise meter, you know,
from the audience,
That's
the
what
audience,
Weir
it's like,
says.
okay,
This
that's not any sort of like, that's not scientific. Not that any of it is, right? But like if it's like a panel of judges, then it's like, there's a lot of stuff that goes into it, subjectivity. Like this guy was like my mentee, like I got to like train him for this performance, and so like all that. So ultimately, whichever way we do it, if the audience gets to pick and it's not a noise meter, and however you make that work, and I think they kind of do that with like the voting systems, right? It's like
Could cast ballots.
If it was a noise meter, you just play Sweet Caroline and you fucking get that.
Yeah, get him out. Yeah, Mr. Brightside, get out. Yeah,
yeah.
Something along those lines. Yeah, I don't know. That's an interesting question.
It could be an interesting concept.
It could be. I mean, ultimately, exposure. Artists get to me the main like. The reason why I find it hard to knock those like shows is because like they pick up a lot of people who would otherwise have really no chance of getting getting national acclaim or attention.
For sure.
It's like they interview them. It's like, oh I was gonna do a country accent, but it's like my mom dropped me off, and we've been struggling with whatever. And it's like this really like personifying story.
Oh, they always get the sob story.
And it's like, okay, suddenly you're rooting for this person. You haven't even heard them sing or play their instrument. It's like, okay, I want this person to win. And then they play, it's like, okay, you're not great, but still, I want you to win because, you have such a great story. And like, I want you to like have a better life and have a great career as an artist.
Totally.
So like,
I think they should do away with that. I think they should do away.
No story.
Just show up on stage and play your shit. Yeah.
No,
yeah.
I think you should do away with that because, the pluck on your heartstrings thing is a very, very easy way to garner the attention and the sob story like Don talks about. You get the sympathy vote.
Yeah.
People are immediately much more your struggle. They become so much more invested in your struggle and wanting to see you succeed rather than how you perform and nail it each time you go up there. Granted,
I couldn't agree more. I'm all on board for that.
Yeah, do the story, when you're at the final 8, when people have made their decision on the people that they've like locked in on, and then sure, we're at that point where it's a high level and your story could be just as good as the next person's, but like save it for a little bit. Don't drop it when we're still. They didn't even get to go to Hollywood yet, or whatever the next part of the hierarchy goes to after their local auditions and things.
Totally.
But I prefer it's me, and I'm all about be good and don't worry about your story until later on, and then you can talk about those kind of things. But start there. Granted, you do get a lot. I mean, some of these people they might not come from anything. One dude like sold his truck and like walked to the audition or some shit like that. And like, how are you gonna get there if you make it? He's like, I don't know. He's like,
I haven't thought that far.
I was kind of hoping for that guy to win. Right after
if it would have been real great if they're like, well, you're a fucking idiot.
Well, we're not going to air that, so good luck on your audition.
Yeah.
I whatever. I think
you might want to go buy your truck back, bud.
Yeah, there's no golden ticket behind that one, buddy. You might want to go.
Oh, that's brutal. Speaking of stories, musician stories, what is the Wake the Nile story? Is there? I mean, I know y'all have dropped a couple singles now. y'all are cooking up some fucking heat. I feel like y'all are picking up a little momentum.
Yeah.
On social media. What is there a story? Or are y'all just out here making what you think is dope songs? Is there any concept to it? Or is it just y'all?
You mean the musical story?
The musical story, or is
not
it just
the band
y'all?
story? Okay,
Or both. Give me both. If they're different, or if they're one and the same, whatever. But
dog, the band story is the most cliche shit you've ever heard.
Okay,
Straight up, it's
love
like
that.
literally like house party, mutual friend. Yo, you both make music. You should be friends now. Like straight up, that type of thing. And then I meet Dom, and he's like, I don't know. He was probably on one at the time. It's like.
Yeah.
It's like, oh yeah, another artist in Austin.
Said, what's good?
Like I don't know 80 of them already. It's like, and then he's like, oh yeah, I'm Don. I make music. And then I literally gave him my phone to play a demo of mine. And like in the kitchen at a house party, had it up to his ear, cupping it so he could hear it better over the music and the conversation. Like that level of cliche. It's like, hey, you want to check out my mixtape type shit?
Like a 1-bedroom apartment. It's like 40 of us in there. They're blaring music in the other room. We're in this little cube of a kitchen, like.
Yeah. But obviously he fucked with it, 'cause
I told him I was rather impressed. I was like, oh, I want to, like, it's a solid band. He's like, no, this isn't. This is just me. And I was like, well, I can hear you singing in it, but like the band sounds great too. And he's like, no, that's all of that's me. And I was like, okay, well. This sounds great,
So you play drums and bass and everything on it?
Yeah,
no
man.
Shit. Okay.
I did my best. My forte is drums and singing. If you ask me, but like, I knew that at the time. I just had these songs. I had to get them out, put them on put them, record them somehow, and then put them in the hands of people who play bass and guitar better than I am. And then if those people coalesce into a band, then we're off. So
hell yeah,
that was that.
We're still kind of doing that to this day.
Straight up, yeah.
Like we had a band and we're both. What do you guys play? Drums. Shit. We got to learn other instruments. So that's it. I mean, clearly we're on a path to getting better at other instruments as well, because it's difficult to write a song and be like snare and hi-hat and kick drum. Yeah. What do you think about it? Here, let me add some more snare and kick and hi-hat to that. So, yeah, Don's been getting really good at guitar, and I've been practicing the piano a bunch, and that kind of helps with the songwriting aspect of it. And, like figuring out, like unique parts and things that we can add in and take out and move around and shuffle around in the music that it doesn't just fall on, like, how does the percussive rhythm sound for this? Like, who do we need for... So it helps to eliminate having to, like, completely make a record with just, everybody else and us, as so much as to, like, write it and have something for people to come in and just perform.
But it's also...
I was going to say, at least the drums are going to be hot, though.
Straight up.
The drums
yeah. And I was going to, like, it's worth mentioning, too, that, like, even after that moment in the kitchen, on the mic, like, listening to the mixtape or the demos... It took like another year and a half before we actually became a thing, because Dom was in another project, or maybe even 2 at the time.
Oh no, yeah. I mean, if we tried to do the Lunar thing.
Yeah.
So before Lunar, when Zach was moving out, and shout out to all the Lunar Eclectic boys. We were in the band, and Zach was getting ready to leave, and at the time we were like, well, we're just starting to do this. We're getting COVID. Is coming. It has not quite gotten there yet, but COVID is on the way. And at the time, we were starting to get phone calls for things. We were planning the first tour. The record was getting ready to be tracked and put out. And once the album was done, COVID hits. The lead singer of our band decides that he's moving back up to Maryland. And we're going, they're like, Dom, what should we do? And I was like, well, I know a guy. We should call him. He's got a great voice, and it'll be fun to bring him into the project. And we can kind of he's got his own music. We have some of ours. Maybe we can kind of commingle this. He could sing on the songs that we currently have. We could learn some of his material because he wants a band to kind of be a part of that too. And we'll kind of fuse them and see where that goes. And we did a few practices, and we brought some people in, and it just...
fizzled, man.
Yeah, it just kind of fizzled in. At the time, I was just getting ready to do the Under the Rug stuff. So when that became such a complicated regimen that it was impossible to try to juggle doing that every day for hours on end, and then being like, okay, let me go home and work with another band.
Yeah.
After I just spent the last 10 hours with one of them. So
I didn't know y'all had been making music together for that long.
we kind of weren't, like the way that like Don still had his music. We had the Lunar stuff, and he would come over, and a couple other new people would come into the mix, and we were trying out different people as a group, and practicing some of our music, and then hearing and practicing some of Don's music, and then just kind of feeling out the vibe. But we were testing out like a new band in general, but we were gonna keep the Lunar Eclectic thing going, and then there was some difference of opinion about how that would look and who would be a part of it. And eventually it was just kind of like, all right, well, I can't. I got this other thing I'm doing too. So
yeah,
it's hard to like focus all your attention on, building something. If it was already there and we said, let's go, this is it, then it would have been easier to focus on those two things. But to have like audition after audition after audition, and then another guy's in and another guy's out, and we're talking about who's,
that gets exhausting, man. It's tough when, I feel like I've done, obviously I've been a part of a couple different bands, and I feel like the best ones are when everyone kind of right off the get-go knows exactly their part and what they're contributing. And sure, that can change a little bit as the project grows, and it always does. But versus, maybe we'll do this, but with this guy on bass, or maybe we'll switch this guy out and this guy. For me, it's always been that like the first time this group gets together, it's like this is the way it should be.
Yeah.
I don't know. Versus like having to like trying to piece it together.
Yeah.
But and I'm sure they come together all different ways and different things, have success. But
that
for
was
whatever reason, yeah.
That was the biggest thing about it, was that when we were doing this, we were like, okay, when we restructure this project, because when Zach left, Ben left as well, and so it was left with me and Paul to make the decision on what happens to the rest of the band. So we need another guitar player, we need another singer, we need maybe a keys player, and we need a bass player. And we're like, well, we gotta kind of have Don with a rhythm section, and Paul can play lead, he can play rhythm and sing, and we'll try out different bass players. But we were constantly telling ourselves, like, we have to remind ourselves that when you are doing this, you got to ask people, like, what is your commitment value to this? Like, are you able to practice a couple times a week or once a week? What is your show availability like? Is your tour availability there? Because we were starting to plan this tour that was going to take us to a festival in Florida to play with Sound Tribe. And so that was big. And it was like, well, we need people that are going to be able to drive all the way to fucking Orlando for this thing. And it's like, what's your availability like? Do you live close? Is it going to take you, 45 to an hour to get here? There's all these different social dynamics that come with the band outside of, do we have chemistry playing? And it's something you want to address up front. And that's kind of where there was some dissonance there with, like, you hear somebody and you fall in love with their music, but then they don't check any of the other boxes. But one person's like, I don't care if they don't check any other boxes. I want this guy. He's killing it. Like, well, there's more that we can, see that might be, less of a headache down the road, or we're going to end up in the same position we're in today. So a little pro tip for people out there, make sure that you have the conversations with the artists before you join a band with them about what they're trying to accomplish in the music itself.
That's a big one. Because you sometimes you get a little too serious, and then someone's going, I thought this was a fun thing that we were doing or whatever, and
we're just chilling, man.
That miscommunication was something that, and thankfully that when the two of us sat down about this, it was like I had just gone through all this stuff, and I was like, I've got all these this documentation, all this stuff about, like an email Bible, or this information about setting up, whatever, marketing campaigns and funnels, and all these words that, like, to other people it sounds like, oh, what the fuck, dude? I thought we were just playing music. And you're like, that part comes, but right now, is this something you're interested in? Because if not, then maybe I don't think this. And Don was like, I'm all for it. I don't want to be in a band that's, for doing it for fun. I want to take it very seriously. Me too. And then obviously the conversation comes where it's like, who else do we bring into this? And we both looked at each other and we're like, Nobody.
All of what you guys just talked about is the reason why I'm glad Dom was on board with the idea of making this a duo, right?
Yeah.
Because like, the more people you throw in the pot to stew it up, the harder it gets to making the decision, like on whether like we're gonna play this song or that song, what lyrics go into the track, like who's playing what part. Like I don't want to have to deal with all of that. So we kind of just landed on, there's us. We have a revolving door of artists. We get to pick who that is depending on the track. If it's a studio session, we can like curate who's on bass, who's on guitar, who's on keys. If it's a live performance, we can like curate who's on stage with us. But Wake the Nile is just me and Dom, like ultimately, right?
Yeah.
So like for me, that makes things so much easier because him and I are in lockstep on pretty much 98% of the decisions, and the 2% is like where we actually need to have the conversation and the fight and like, have our ideas challenged. But for the most part, it's like we're pushing in the same direction. And I can't imagine how much harder that must be for like 5 dudes.
There's so many different politics and opinions about things that like it gets hazy in the room, and then next thing you know, you're like, you're fishing for support on an idea that you might need to be looking inward for on that idea, and so you're kind of looking around like, right, and then you got a guy in the background, and he's hitting the bowl, like, you got another guy, and he's not even in the room because he's grabbing a beer out of the fridge, and is a lot of that like, hey, I thought we were just jamming.
Every band has one of them. Band has one of them.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to like that make that decision up front and say that it our lives will be easier now and onward. Granted, somewhere along the way in life, when we do these kind of things, there might be somebody that we just absolutely fall in love with their energy and their vibe and what they bring to the table and their ideas, and maybe the amount of I wouldn't say clout, I would say probably the
prowess,
recognition and prowess that they've got, not only in the communal sense, but in the music realm in general.
Someone like me. No, I'm just
kidding. Yeah, exactly.
No, for real.
I mean, on it, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, but it's just the fact of the matter is in this beginning phase, it's like if we had anybody stepping inside of that box to kind of, it would just, shake things up too much. And, like, what happens when you shake a Coke can up too much and then open it. It's like,
this shit's going everywhere.
It's going everywhere. It goes everywhere.
I think y'all are doing it right. I think the only thing I want from y'all is a fucking show. That's what I want from you guys. And I have to call y'all motherfuckers out.
That's the ticker.
On the podcast, because I call y'all out on this every time I see y'all. And I'm like, when are we getting it? When are we getting the first Wake the Nile fucking rager? Do y'all have a date yet? Or we're still working on it?
No. Let me say it like this. First off, we wanted the album to be done first. We want this to be an album release show.
Okay.
There is been talks and speculation about the potential of doing something very small, private, if you will.
Okay.
Well, not advertised.
Non-advertised.
Sure.
It would be
invite only.
Need to know. Yeah.
Yeah.
And just to kind of test the waters of the live process and make sure that everything works, like so when you step up on stage in front of a lot of people, that there's no difficult technical difficulties, or we'll be working with a group of people that we've been practicing with. We kind of want to get them, get one out that's like 60, 70, 80 of your friends, backyard vibes kind of thing with a keg in the back kind of.
I love it. I love that idea.
Just stretch like a 45-minute set just to see where things go, and then
low pressure.
Make a fun deal out of it, and just Now there's that. But then you think to yourself, okay, then you kind of spoil you spoil the milk if you do that, and then it isn't great. Then maybe those 60, 70, 80 people are like,
Well, maybe it doesn't even have to be that many people.
It could be 40 for all I care.
Maybe it could be 25 or 30 people.
Yeah. I mean, I think that there's a level of like specialness of having something small enough where it's like, okay, we're gonna try this out. We're gonna do like 6 or 7 songs and just kind of see what happens.
I love that idea.
And on top of that, we like, I'm thinking, we're obviously going to drop another single or two.
Hey. Anything y'all want to announce on the podcast?
Dude, he knows better than to make such a now, or even hint at such an
I don't know. I mean, there was been, There's been some chatter. So
Okay.
there's a possibility that there is some more work behind the scenes that we want to kind of get ready before you jump into that mode. Because if you want to do it right, you take the time and you do it right. When you want to put a show together, that's going to be the first one. You want to throw a party. You want an event. You don't want, hey, come see us at, what would be in a venue? Mohawk. Hey, we're playing at Mohawk indoors.
He was trying to figure out which venue he wants to throw under the bus.
No.
like no.
I just drawing a blank, but
No, look.
you want to throw an event. You want to do it in a place where you can have hundreds of your friends come out. You can have all kinds of things, and you can bring in sponsors. You can have.
It's got to be an event. It's got to be an event.
That's the plan, and it's. I mean, I won't. It will be this year.
Oh yeah, that's for sure.
It will be in 2026.
And to get to an answer to your
I'm
question,
holding y'all to that shit.
No, straight up.
I'm holding you to it.
We are going to play live music. This band is not like an internet TikTok band. Like, and that's not.
Which I do want to which does lead me to asking about y'all's content. But go on,
yes, but like there are bands like that. Like they've made a great name for themselves. Like they have hundreds of thousands of listeners on Spotify or Apple Music, whatever. But like they exist pretty much mostly on the internet, and that's like that's a lane. That's a very modern thing. It's like I'm not knocking it, but we're not one of those bands. Like our goal is to get into the meat space and like play songs for people. Yeah. Like I thrive as an artist on stage, right? That's where I want to be. Like I wrote the songs in my little 1-bedroom apartment and demoed them out in that space, and then showed them to Dom in a 1-bedroom apartment in a kitchen. But the goal was always to get them in the hands of monster players who can then create the basis for us to play the songs on stage. Yeah,
exactly. I think we want to maximize the amount of people that we can bring to a show
precisely
before we decide to do one. And right now, because we're so new, you're advertising strictly to the largest demographic of fans that you have, and that's your friends.
Totally.
And I've said this before, and I'll say it again: your friends aren't really your fans.
Yeah,
and I think most people need to understand that, and the biggest thing is okay, well then if they're not, who is? And you're like, well, we go out there and we find out, and then when we can figure that part out, when we're starting to get to that point, we're starting to see an influx of new people coming into this dichotomy or this ecosystem. I think that's where it begins to really dawn on us. Okay, we're getting real fans, people who are coming into this network or this ecosystem because they like us. Yeah. Now let's start to figure out who they are and where they are, and then plan.
Yeah, I think as of the recording of this podcast, we just maybe reached the point where there's a 50-50 split between Dom's friends, mostly Dom's friends, who follow our band, and just random people who find us on the internet.
Oh, so nice. Okay.
So now
That's
we're getting
good.
to that point where okay, the majority of our audience is about to become I like this band because I saw them in a reel or something.
People we've never met in person.
People we've never met in person. They
clicked it and went,
they just chose to follow us out of their own volition, not because they like Dom or something,
Yeah, I think so.
So
shout out to all 300 of you that
straight up the
recently
early
just
adopters
come into the ecosystem of Wake the Nile. You guys are the original OGs. If you're watching this right now,
straight up.
You're probably not, but shout out to you.
And if you came back to this from the future, shout out to you too.
Yeah.
I will say I have had a bunch of my friends that I've shared your stuff with, and they've seen your content because I'll share it on my story or whatever.
Appreciate that.
And they're like, oh, Dom and Don's new thing. Like, dude, I love the content that they're doing. First of all, especially they're always commenting on the funny stuff that y'all have done. And just being like, dude, some of the shit is hilarious and awesome, and it sounds great. You know what I mean? So I'm like, they're all saying the same thing. I said, when are they gonna do a show? But for the content, what has been the approach for you guys? I know you kind of for a while there, were kind of stockpiling on some content a little bit. Has it so you can kind of keep up with the steady releases and feeding the algorithm, which we all fucking know is real, which I've talked about it on podcasts before, how it can feel when you're trying to keep up with just putting out and posting and posting and posting, it can feel a little bit. I don't know if inauthentic is the right word.
Oh, it
but
is.
it could
Cringe.
feel. Yes, it could feel
cringe
a little
as
cringy.
fuck.
Yeah.
It could feel a little cringy.
Yeah.
Do you guys? What's your approach been to like having this content and posting it and keeping up with it? Because I know y'all have been pretty steady.
I got a couple metrics. Number one, if it looks badass. If the
Hell
concept's badass.
Number
and the
one,
video
hell
looks-
yeah.
We talked about this in advance, and we said, like, first things first, we want to do as much of avoiding your typical TikTok and Instagram algorithm trends.
Trend hopping, yeah.
Yeah.
Like we don't want to be trendy. We want to create something. Granted, the reason why they're trends is because they fucking work. But we're like, we can step out of the box a little bit and make dope shit that visually displays or conveys the message of each of these songs to a degree where you're stuck to figure that out on your own. We're not going to give it to you. We're not going to say, POV, you just found a song about getting your heart broken. We're going to put it in the lyrics. We're going to put it in a visual descriptor. And that's one thing where it's like, okay, if it comes to fruition where we can avoid trendy cringe material, it makes it a lot easier. Yeah. It makes it easier. It's still not fun.
But it also makes it harder because you have to come up with those concepts.
With
They have to
something
be, like,
that you dig.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
they have to be brand new. Like, and I'll take an example. Like the Lamb video when we're sitting on top of a garage, kind of abandoned, like graffitied joint. It's like maybe an old gas station or something.
Yeah.
Like that. If you listen to the lyrics of the song, it ties in somewhere. And I'm not going to give it away on the podcast, but like ultimately, like we're in the world of the song. And that's what the visual is as well. But like coming up with those concepts and also like making them visually interesting is it's hard. And it's like also like then you have to think about budget because if you don't have like access to a location that's free, which in that case it was, then you have to come up with the money. For example, we shot a video for Mercy where we had to like get camera equipment and borrow a spotlight and like all that stuff costs money. So like when you're not hopping trends and doing like algorithm tripping type stuff, it's like ultimately you have to be cognizant of the fact that you might have to step out of the comfort zone or like come up with the money to make those concepts work. But we're committed to that because I think what matters, and this is where you remember when earlier I talked about the 98% where we were lockstep, but then there's a 2% where we're having the fight. It's like that's where the 2% usually comes up. It's like, are we just going to do this concept in the easy, like run of the mill, like shoot it one day and have it ready the next day? Or are we going to like put in the work, put the budget up, get the camera guy out, get the...
do the whole thing.
Do the whole fucking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, we've been very, for so far, and maybe this will change, I don't know, but so far we've been trying to be like disciplined about like not giving up the conceptual piece of making content and making it like tie into the lyrics of the song and the message we want to put out into the world. And actually just like, just record a video because everyone's doing a gimmicky thing. And then we're doing the same gimmicky thing. And maybe we get 1,000 follows or 1,000 likes, but it's not really us,
Yeah.
It's a balance.
Well, and it's difficult because every time we do something like this, we mix up the way that we produce this content and in the hopes of saying, oh, these metrics will show us which is doing better. We'll play around with a bunch of different concepts and we get the most skewed like statistics back. We get the like, okay, this one we think is the best thing we did, and then and you put it online and 50 people liked it. And then we did one and it was this silly, like it was a 20-second drum playthrough video of one of the songs, and it was like, and it got like 2,000 views on YouTube in like an hour. And we're like, we threw that together and
in 30 seconds, yeah.
It's so weird to like be stuck in that, like we haven't seen something completely go, okay, and then it happened again with a different thing, and then we're going, okay, now we know what's hitting. Like everything we've had has had such a roller coaster of attractiveness in different platforms with different fan bases or different, consumers. To a degree, that we have been stuck scratching our heads, like, okay, well, let's, maybe we dole down the quality of video from this one, or maybe we up the production from this one, or maybe we don't use extra scenes, we shoot it all in one camera scene, or
Yeah.
So we go to the drawing board, and when we do a song or we do an idea, we try to break it into several different ideas and say, okay, let's do 3 different versions of something, and then put them out and then test them, and then.
Dude.
I think now that we're getting real fans coming in, we'll start to get actual better, better. I don't know, results to be able to determine what it is. But
Another thing that and I've got this question from a couple of people so far. There's no PR marketing person behind this. This is literally just him and I sitting in a room every other week and coming up with fresh stuff. Like, we don't know what's trendy, what's cool, what's hot, what you should do as a band. Straight up, like, and I know that I'm not saying something groundbreaking for like an independent band, but like ultimately, like, our stuff ends up looking maybe like polished or professional in a sense, but that's only because we've like kept the discipline and like held ourselves to a certain like in-house standard. But like, we could very easily just be like, let's just go throw everything to the wall and see what sticks, But like, there's just no one keeping us on task besides ourselves, or on message, on brand. Like, we don't even know what the brand is really yet. Like, we just know, like, okay, the guidelines are this. It has to portray some sort of message that ties into the song. It has to be something we would find interesting if we saw it on our timeline, and it has to be like within like the limits of our, production, values. Like, we can make it happen. We can produce it. We can do it without having to like break our backs.
And that makes me wonder about like the people that are the professionals of marketing or PR or whatever word you want to use there.
Yeah.
Do they even know what's going to
fucking do? What do they do?
And maybe they do. And that's not to talk shit to anyone who's doing that. But I do wonder. It's like, how does anyone know what's going to hit?
Nah, they don't.
Those people do. Listen, those people are the ones that tell you to do the trendy shit. Oh, is there a shot?
Yeah.
Let's do a shot.
Those are the people who tell you do the trendy shit. I mean, like,
see, and that's
we would disagree with them, and rightly so, because of the amount of I don't know, the integrity that we feel necessary. I guess maybe that's a strong word to say, but the
artistic integrity.
That's kind of what it boils down to.
The principle from our perspective is we want to avoid that. But if you were to ask somebody who would look at our page, they would say,
"You got to post more.
You got to post more. You're not following the trend."
Yeah.
And we actually had an interview a couple days ago, and somebody asked, like, "What do you think is the most popular thing, or what do you think is the most what is the most complicated thing that you have to do as part of your job with the band?" And I think that was my answer was somewhere on the lines of like trying to stay up to date with all of this kind of crap and trying to understand, what days, always knowing when, did the UI change for running ads? Is the algorithm shifted towards what kind of trendy, videos people are making these days? I mean,
it's insane.
Or is our pattern interrupt strong enough on this video? Like, did somebody
at that point you have to just trust whatever you dig.
Yeah, I hope this looks fucking cool to other people.
I think it looks cool. Let's do it. Yeah.
And straight up, I feel like the people who like Wake the Nile right now, they like what we like. And for me, that I couldn't have it any other way.
Yeah.
I would hate to end up with a fan base that's demanding something from us that we don't even like doing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's the definition of hell.
Yeah, straight
I feel
up.
like, honestly, like, God,
it's like a Black Mirror episode.
It's
like a Black Mirror episode where like
right. And then you go backstage and you want to rope,
a bunch of people on their phones, and it's like fucking creepy. I don't know.
No, for sure.
Are we doing that? Let's see. Is there a lime in here? Yeah.
Shall we take a shot?
Let me tell you guys something.
There's an orange in there. Okay. Oh, Nicole. Round of applause for Nicole.
Round of applause. You're doing wonderful.
Always fucking on top of it.
Nothing like shots of tequila with your old fashioned.
Y'all are doing the tequila. Y'all are wild. I'm sticking with the whiskey.
Oddly enough,
doing shots of tequila on top of your old fashioned. This was Don's
idea.
No, it wasn't.
This was Don's idea.
Don't listen to the mom. I suggested juice.
Yeah. We can get y'all refilled too on the cheers, guys. Thanks again for coming on.
For sure, man. Thanks for having us.
I just wanted to say something too.
Mm-hmm. That's a good orange.
The lime not so bad either.
Supermercado.
Do you guys want a little bit of refill? I think Nicole can probably whip up a little whiskey soda or something if y'all want to continue?
I'm
Yeah.
Another old fashioned. Okay, all right.
sure.
Well, then we can. If you need to shake that, you can probably stir it so it doesn't get in the
Shake
in the microphones and whatnot. Well, hell yeah.
Yeah.
I'm excited, guys. I mean, I dig what y'all are doing, and
Appreciate that, man.
I'm excited to see what's next for you guys. All the singles have been hot. Let me ask you this: were the songs?
The song.
How much of the songs have been done ones you demoed and had ready to go? And for those, how much did they change when you took them to the studio? And then B, how much of them are the ones that, or have there been ones that have just spawned in the studio and y'all have just kind of ran with it?
Okay, I got to take this one.
Yeah,
Let Don take it.
Yeah,
Let Don take it.
So
better answer it correctly though. I'm just kidding.
No, but for real, like the songs that you're hearing, that you will hear from the first record of Wake the Nile, which is still, the album title is still to be announced. Every single one of them is from the demo, right? And so these are songs that I made, back in 2016 after graduating college, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna do my own thing now. I got my own life ahead of me. I can do whatever I want. I've done the degree. I've appeased my parents who wanted that for me.
Yeah.
Again, Mom, turn this off. So, I wrote these songs and I was like, okay, if I only ever make one record, I'm going to pour my entire life story into it up to this point, right? So the stories you're hearing, the story that the album tells, and the story that every single song tells is literally like my life story up to that point.
Oh, wow. Okay. All right.
Right. And so there's a narrative that's weaved into the album, like from start to finish. If you listen to it back to back, and you're paying attention, hopefully, then you can tell what I'm trying to say, right? And
Okay.
Again, I'm not going to give you to win the pot, but so I wrote these songs, and then when I met Dom, and Dom started coming, bringing these artists together, I gotta shout him out, Mike Boyd on bass, right, and guitar on some songs. Like, I realized that, okay, there's a lot of room for these songs to be bigger than they actually were, and so I will say that there was 2 songs that got added to the record because I realized this record is a bit too somber, too moody. It needs to be a little bit more upbeat without changing the message. So Mercy and a song called Dance are songs that I wrote while in the process of making the record.
Cool.
And they got added to the record, but they didn't change the narrative of the record.
Gotcha. Okay.
So those are the only 2 songs that got written and produced while in the process of coming up with the whole thing, putting the project together. But everything else ultimately was from that first demo, and I didn't really think that the songs were going anywhere beyond I find a guy or a band and then we play them, we record them, and then maybe we get to play them on stage sometime, right? So where we are now, though, is we've come to a point where, to the second question of have they changed, dude?
Yeah,
crazy,
insanely, and I gotta
That's
glaze my guy here because ultimately glaze. Ultimately,
hype that boy up.
I gotta hype him up.
Let's hype this boy up.
So straight up, he has pushed me quite a bit to make these songs much bigger than they were. If you listen to Lamb, for example, which has been out for the longest.
Banger.
Thank you.
Yeah.
If you listen to Lamb, the demo, it sounds like the same song without any meat, any balls, right? Straight up, it sounds like a child version of the actual Lamb, right? He comes in. Insane monster drums. My drum fills on the demo are drum fills, but his drum fills are this guy plays the drums, right? And we both play the drums, but he's a better drummer than I am. And then you get to the guitar playing, the bass playing. So many artists came together. Henry Invisible is on the record. He's a local
shout out
artist.
Henry,
shout out Henry,
my brother.
And he killed it on bass, right? He made the bass sound like what I was envisioning it sounding like when I was in my room, fiddling with a bass, trying to imitate a bass player, right? So what I'm trying to say is my dream of putting these songs in people's hands that are much more fluent at instruments than I am has been realized 1,000-fold, right? Because these songs sound insane compared to what the demo sounded like.
Yeah.
and that really comes down to Dom and his
That was like
connection.
that was like a I know a guy.
I know,
thing.
straight.
Like some of the songs too, there were parts where like, what if we added this section? And I was like, Don brought these things in, and I think that was my responsibility was to go. But what if we did this? What if we added this in, or this break, or this beat, or what if we put a solo in here? I think this is a great spot for a fucking killer solo. And then at that point it goes, okay, so who's doing it? And then it's like,
I know a guy.
I know a guy.
Hell yeah.
And
So now going to the songs though that were written in the studio, I'm always curious about this because I've played in bands where we have everything written, we take it to the studio and we play it, and then I've played and then we record it, how we've always played it or whatever, and then.
Get it out of there.
Shit, boy. And then I've played in groups where we just kind of went in the studio, someone tracked some guitar and laid a couple chords down.
Yeah.
And then we kind of started just piecing this thing together. And the feel is different. I don't know if I could really like quantify or say why. But they're always different. I know you mentioned the ones that kind of spawn in the studio, maybe a little more dancey or something like that. But can you say like sonically how when they came together, how they were different from the others?
I can say like for me, like the realization was that there's like monster players that I have access to through Dom. Right? There's people out there that are gonna take my incoherent, lick and make it sound like insane and like coherent and like and cool,
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, I'm gonna write a song that like tries to get there, knowing that once I put it in the hands of Mike Boyd or Dom when it comes to rhythm, it's gonna sound even better, right? So I realized like I had no limitation. The only limitation I had was like in my mind of like,
you were able to lean into letting them play
the song exactly. Because
Cool.
before I was like, maybe I'll find a guy who plays just as good as I do on bass and just as good as I do on drums, and that'll be enough. But then I realized like, it sounds kind of condescending because I'm not the greatest instrumentalist.
Yeah.
But I realized like, I have access to like monster players, and I'm gonna write the bones, and then they're gonna put the meat on them, right? So like that's what Mercy became. It's like if you listen to Mercy, there's like the huge instrumental section in the middle of the song before the
that was like nothing.
That when I played the demo for Dom, it's like, this is gonna have.
I don't even think we dropped
something.
down. I don't even think we dropped the music out for that in the original when we started, right? And then it was just like, I don't know. I'm hearing this like.
Yeah. It's like a backbeat, like totally different section. And it's like that's what like access to better instrumentalists. Like it allowed me to be like, okay, I'm gonna write the verses, the choruses. I know there's gonna be a instrumental section or a solo section, and I know there's a guy who Dom's gonna know who's gonna make this sound like a freaking killer. Like so
Dom does know everybody.
He really does.
He does know everybody.
And so like that's the freedom to like be like, okay, you can write the bones and not worry about like, hey, this song is supposed to sound like this, and because that's where I was writing from when I wrote the original demo. But once I got to the point of like, okay, I'm working with a guy who knows like pretty much every Austin local artist, and most of those guys are like freaking killers, like they're much better than I am at playing their instrument. Then just write the bones. Don't worry about like how it's gonna like the outcome, and consistently, the outcome has been like 100-fold better.
And not to mention though, there's a lot of writing that happens when the tracking is done, which is an interesting thing that happens with us quite some time. And shout out for the ever long patience of Mr. Matt Parmenter.
Ice Cream Factory, shout out.
Straight up.
And when we got into this with him, we were doing kind of crunch time in it for a lot of these things. So there were like a day or two period where we're like, hey, we're gonna knock out all 6 of these songs, get them all tracked in a day or something like that. And it's there, and conceptually it's there. And even when you get the raw bounces back, you're like, okay, this sounds pretty sick. But the majority of the like effectual stuff happens after the fact. And it's there, and it's going, okay, now the rat race begins where the two of us get together and go, let's piece some notes together and let's talk about punches. Let's talk about new ideas. Let's talk about vocal chains. Let's get into the concept of what how the comping, how we want to do with the comping and things like that. And so we're in there and we're listening to all the different takes that we have, and we're creating this this composition that's been thrown together very 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 quickly with a group of people, because if it's two guys, you get a guy that comes in, you want to get him in and out as fast as possible. It's not like I can invite you back tomorrow or the following day. Everybody's working on schedules, and so a lot of the extra stuff happens after the fact. So when the tracking day is over, it's the two of us go to work about, oh, hey, we were supposed to add footsteps into this, and let's add some, what about horns? We'll bring a group of guys in to do a horn section, which we did for Matter. And what about, we could probably put a keyboard section in this song. Like what if we want to add, some clav and some organ and so there's, like the punches and stuff like that happens. So that our creative process doesn't end at just the tracking and then mixing it and then finishing it. The song isn't done from there. And again, a testament to Matt's patience when we go to this, to this level, we fall into this kind of like, I don't know. It's just, we call it a cook.
So I have a question real quick about that.
Yeah.
So when you're tracking, let's say you've done some drums and some guitars, whatever, bass, and then you're gonna be like, and where it's normally just like a driving guitar or and the drums are kind of continue. If you're wanting to add like kind of like a punch part where it's like a stop, you would have to go in and re-record the drums at that point, or is this, or would you, or re-record that part? Or do you have a way? Were you having a way of getting in there and like editing and punching in?
Yeah, well, I mean, like some of the parts that you can. Yeah, I mean, again, that's the prowess of having just a fantastic mixing and editing engineer, that somebody can go in there and you can say, hey, wait a minute, what if we just bump instead of what it was before then, which was probably like a whole bar fill, or if it's We used plugins that could all kinds of cool things that could give real unique like effects, and like they're
why have the plugin when you can just do it like that?
I
dude?
mean, we went into a library, or we like pulled out a Rolodex full of different like ideas in the studio. Here's a fun one for what's the song we did? It's gotta be.
Drifting Away?
It's Champion, I believe. I believe it was Champion. Champion was basically was a sub bass that like we were for the most part, but we were like, let's add like Matt wanted. He was like, what if we added some real bass to it? And then we're like, yeah, but I kind of want these six tuplets that are like like you're playing. I was like,
like on a bass guitar.
On a bass guitar, and then it's like, I got a great idea. Hold on, let me go and grab these mallets, and we grabbed some rubber mallets and played it on the strings of the guitar on the bass, and Matt was sliding, to each note.
Oh, nice.
So like there are these little nuances, cool. And that's what made the session so fun. And obviously they're time consuming and difficult, and nobody's ever going to really catch the nuance of that. What was it? Matter. We found a detuned plate to a Roland SPDX stand. We walked around the room with a tiny metal stick and beat on all these.
We accidentally found out that it's in the key of the song.
We're like, oh, we're in the key of D, so we need a triangle, like a. So there's this triangle that's playing in the back of the song, and it's not.
This
it's not a
keyboard
triangle.
stand will work,
and it's a stand to the SPDX, or I forget what it was, or something, and it had the perfect. And it's like it goes. You'll hear it.
I think it's the underside of a drum throne.
Or the drum throne, or the back end of where the SPDX connects to, like it's a sampling pad.
Dude, I can't believe we've gone this long without actually like digging into like the Matt Parmenter part of our story.
Yeah,
because like,
oh, he's a fucking whiz.
He's a whiz, and like that's for me that's beyond like.
We've had such a fun working relationship with him, because he's just we do so much unique shit in there.
Yeah,
It's
and like low-key, like artists have all these, some artists anyway, have moments in their careers where it's like you get a green light. Okay, keep going. You're doing something right. You're going in the right direction. That, for me, the only moment so far in our career of that is when Dom came to me and he's like, yo, I showed your demo. Remember the demo from the kitchen? I showed your demo to like a producer, and he thought like, this is cool. Let's, get you into the studio like whenever and like, talk about it, And I came to Ice Cream Factory. It was my first time hearing about it, to be honest. And when I came in, the news was that Matt was willing to work with us, like without really asking any questions. Like, let's just start working on the music immediately.
Hell yeah.
To me, that was such like a boost in like, okay, we got something.
Someone,
exactly, someone, right?
Yeah.
So like, I cannot, sing his praises enough. And like, until like, wherever we go as a project, as a band, as a group, like Matt Parmenter is like at the very, very foundation.
The silent third member of the band.
That's exactly,
Totally,
and like he's the reason why I'm like, okay, you know what, we can do this. Like I'm not even gonna like sugarcoat that. Like, if we had not had the Matt Parmenter like vote of confidence, I probably would still be like, like maybe. But now I'm like, yeah.
It's nice to have that buy-in from someone else.
Yeah.
That gives you that. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
He digs this, or whoever digs it. We can do this. We can
Yeah.
do this.
We got
it's
something
nice to have that external thing.
Yeah.
And it's also nice to have like when you have a studio that you're going back to for recurring sessions.
Yeah.
And there's obviously we're coming to the studio, we're getting to work.
Yeah.
But for it to be relaxed, like, okay, we could come in here and there's so much to do that maybe if one thing doesn't work out, there's not the pressure of, fuck, this has to work.
Yeah.
We paid for all this studio time and we only get it for one more week or whatever. And,
For sure.
It's so nice to have that, like, okay, my voice doesn't feel great today. Maybe we're going to just do, drums, and we're gonna knock that out.
Yeah.
And then we don't have to spend too much time trying to do this thing that's like not working. If it's not working, you can kind of just move on, because I've been in some sessions before where it's like, I got this song, I wrote it, I played it a million times, and for whatever reason, it just sounds like shit today.
Yeah.
And I'm like, and rather than, and I kind of have like a little bit of a rule, like, if I try a take like 10 times, it's not working.
You get to 10.
And it's not working, I'll be like,
This guy gets 10.
This guy gets 10.
You hear that,
yo.
Matt? No,
I'll
just
be
kidding.
like,
Wow.
I'll be like,
Yeah, let's edit that out of the podcast. Jesus
yeah,
Christ.
he said you get one and then we're fucking done.
You get about 4.
Yeah.
No. All jokes aside, but for real, Matt has been
10 was on the high side for me.
I know, we're
but for real, to your point,
Yeah.
Matt has been extremely gracious.
At 1,000,000%.
like, allowing us to be like, okay, we'll try something out,
Yeah.
We'll get another edit on that mix, like whatever. It's like
We also have the trust in him that he's like, I got
Yes.
everything I need, and you'll hear
Yes.
that on the mic in your earphones when he
tight.
says, I got everything I need.
Job is
You're
done.
done. I'm
You-
done.
you-
I don't need to.
you-
I don't need to
there's
worry
trust
about
there,
the
yeah.
next. Yeah, he heard that verse 1 drums were fantastic. Verse 2 drums were fantastic. The fill into the chorus sucked ass. Keep going, and then the next take, the fill will be good. And he's like, I punch. Basic
We'll call
studio,
it whatever,
basic
yeah.
studio knowledge. Like
Matt was the
there's
person-
there's no trick to it, but it's like
Yeah.
I'll comp. You crush the second fill. No worries, I got you. We'll punch it in. I got everything I need. We're done here.
Yeah.
We go in with a pretty bombastic. Schedule
You
to
bombastic little.
we go in,
baby.
with a
bitches.
we go in with with a really a big idea of what we're willing to what we're going to accomplish in that day. You got 8 hours, and that clock stops. You get what you get, and so we're like we're gonna get to that point. It's like we do go in there with this very big plan, and and you start to get creative, and you start to do these weird things, and you start to add in these unique plugins, and you start to add these different I don't know, all these different effects and cool things, and
Play around with it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You gotta have that element of like, if you lose that element of like, let's play with this a little bit, I think once you dig into that and that comfortability
Yeah.
in the studio,
Yeah.
that's when you're gonna hit some magic.
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Dude, I remember there's a song, was it Elements? Yeah. Matt figured out, without me even realizing it, that me recording in the recording booth was like kind of like impeding my ability to sing. It was like, oh, you know what we're gonna do? We're gonna bring you into the tracking side of the booth, like
Control room.
in the control room. And we're gonna hand you a mic. You can hold it if you want. We can put it on a stand if you want. But it's just gonna be like, like no, filter in front of you, no like headphones. You can just like sing like you were singing on stage, and literally like my vocal take was 20
So
times
much better.
much better. And it's like that little things like that was like I would have been in that booth like just like slamming my vocal over and over and over again, hoping to get the right take. And he realized, you know what, this guy's not comfortable anymore.
Yeah, I have a mic for this actually.
I have a mic for this, and I have a
takes a
setting.
monodirectional.
Yeah. And now that's the only way I record my vocals.
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah.
And I can't fucking explain it either.
Yeah.
I know isn't that I think that's just bizarre from one musician to another to say I know exactly what you're talking about. However, I can't fucking explain why it's that way for the life of me.
Yeah.
But it also makes me think about like sometimes I'll be like we'll be in the studio and I'll try singing something and then I'll be like and then I'll play it back and I'll have it like just going over the speakers. I hadn't hit record, and I'll be with someone. I'll be like, "What if I sing it like this?" And then I'll sing it that way and be like, "Well, that was fucking perfect." And then I'll hit record and everything, and it's only in the headphones and everything.
Yeah.
And then I'll fucking butcher it, and I'm like, "What the?
what
the
changed?
Fuck?
Yeah, no,
what is going on,
dude? Okay,
I don't know what that is.
Well, if you want to get into this, man, I feel like artists, like visual artists, musicians, whatever we are, we're conjurers, right? Like think about it, like we're taking something that does not exist in the physical realm,
yeah,
and then bring it into the physical realm. Like so, like whether it's a thought, an idea, a sound, of an image, it exists somewhere. Like somewhere, we can explain it. Maybe in our mind, but like obviously somewhere in our mind is also some place else we can't really explain, and then bring it into the physical world.
Oh yeah.
A good producer is the kind of person who like create the conditions where your conjuring is like easy.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so like that Matt is that to a T. And I
That's
can't
awesome.
I can't explain it either, but like he has a knack for being like, we're done here.
Yeah.
And like having full confidence that we are done. And then when you go into the control booth and he plays it back, it's like, oh yeah, that was the take. And I didn't even realize it, But it's like he has a knack of like, okay,
Not only that,
you're
but
not gonna get the right take today.
having an editing skill that supersedes the average.
There's a
mixing
running
engineer.
joke about how Matt plays us better than we play ourselves.
Yeah, and I mean, literally, you can watch this guy just look at the computer screen like a series of, and it's like, okay, I like that, and it comes out, and you're like, yeah,
exactly.
damn
like
it,
that. Yeah.
you were right, we were done here. you don't.
Oh, man.
You're like, wait a minute, no, I got one more. You're like, nah, I got everything. Don't worry, I heard everything. You're good. When you get in, by the time I make it to the control room, it's comped for all
That's
the parts
insane.
that I knew were the best one from each take that are going to go into each spot.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, well,
It's magic.
okay, we're done here. Now the only problem is I have to remember those things when you go, because you get this one magical moment, and you're like doing something crazy, and you're like, I don't even remember how I did that. And he's
Yeah.
like, well, that's in the song now, so good luck. You better
Yeah.
learn it.
Figure it out, buddy.
Yeah, I was like, now I'm hearing something, and I'm like, I don't even remember doing that.
Right.
Shit.
That's so good, man. Yeah, that's just like there's some of that studio magic that it gets me thinking about like the music we love, right? The music and the musicians we love, and how we love this music that they made in the studio.
Yeah.
What was when I have that vocal take and it's like I'm singing it, no one's recording, but that was fire. And what is that to like Robert Plant or something? You know what I mean? What did their takes like that? What did their magical musical moments that no one recorded sound like?
I don't know.
You know what I
These
mean?
guys were recording on fucking tape, like.
Yeah.
You didn't get comps. You didn't get
Right.
melodynes. You didn't get, vocal pitch.
But you know what else? I think in their time, they had a lot more freedom to be imperfect, right?
Absolutely,
If you listen
yeah.
back to like your favorite artists, I'm not going to name them, right? It's like anyone who's been around since like the 80s, the 90s. If you listen back with a critical ear, you'll hear like bad, I say bad, but imperfect guitar string notes, imperfect vocal takes, imperfect everything. But I think the audience of the time was like attuned to be like, okay, this is music.
Yeah.
It's not supposed to be perfect. Whereas now, like maybe the musical audience has evolved to be like, okay, tune that shit.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
a string could be a little flat or whatever.
Homie with
you hear that.
the TikTok
you do hear that.
comment. Sounds great. Just a little flat.
It's a little flat for me. And it's like, dude, we literally...
I love me a good fucking TikTok comment.
I
Let's
love
run
it,
that.
A comment like that would not suffice in like the time of like, you get 16 takes on tape and that's it. And then we got to comp what we have and like literally cut the tape to make it work into a record.
Yeah. That's a little more difficult than a little...
Yeah. But no, it's like, some software, some plugin will like correct the vocal, pitch the guitar string into the right tune. It's like, and now I feel like the audience has evolved to also like maybe sonically expect perfection.
Something. Yeah.
And now it's like, okay, you don't get a lot of leeway to be imperfect. And don't get me wrong, there's a lot of like musical, fans and listeners who are just listeners that will accept and appreciate imperfect bands because that's what they want.
I want that. I like that too.
Yeah.
But I also don't see myself as the average listener. You know what I mean?
Once you play music, you no longer become the average listener.
I think
once you learn it, playing
correct.
and learning it, let me roll the tape backwards. Once you learn music and perform it, but once you learn it, you no longer become an average listener. And I'll there's a hill.
100%.
I'll die on that hill.
I agree.
I think it's important enough for people to understand that if you don't play it and you don't know it and you don't learn it, you can enjoy it or you cannot enjoy it. But your opinions sometimes, sometimes some of the opinions come from a place where you're like, okay, buddy, it's a little bit different. Your subjectivity becomes the merit of your subjectivity like slightly devalues itself for a negative comment if you haven't done the work.
I completely agree, and I think that kind of stems from like you could have your guitar can be perfectly in tune, right? And then for whatever reason, for lack of better term, which I hate using this word, but for whatever reason, the vibe just wasn't fucking right. You know what I mean? And I hate using that because it's such bullshit, right? But then sometimes maybe the guitar was slightly out of tune, but you were just in the fucking pocket.
Yeah.
And you're like, we're going with that one.
Right.
The average listener doesn't know what the fuck is up with that. Right. Well, they said it should have been perfect with the perfect in two. Shut the fuck up, dude. You know what I mean?
We've taken a ton of things in the studio and been like, you could clearly hear the difference between one or another, and you're like, no, but it sounded way more raw when it was in this moment. Like, leave it,
Yeah.
Matt's, Matt will look through a take and he'll look through, a series of comps, and we'll go through a few of them, and then we'll go, okay, we clearly know which one's the best one.
Yeah.
I'm like, nah, fuck it.
You ain't got it yet.
Leave it.
Yeah.
Leave the one. Don't put the good one on. Don't comp the good part. It's way more raw this way.
And it's sitting better in there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I mean, we have takes and stuff.
Whatever it is, whether it was rhythmic, whether it was how much attack you put on it, whatever it was, it just it was just better.
Yeah, for sure.
And that's where the subjectiveness of it all. I don't know. And anyone that tells you that they know, they're the fucking problem.
Yeah.
So
I couldn't agree more.
I don't know.
I just tell them, do it, then you do it.
And that's actually one of the challenges.
You do it then.
Yeah, let's see you give it a shot.
Do it.
That's one of the challenges of being like a band like ours, a band like ours. One of the challenges of being Wake the Nile is like we are very genre agnostic. We don't care like where the song sits in terms of like genre classification. We're just gonna make it,
Yeah.
Totally.
So we end up with pop songs that have rock sensibilities and rock songs that have pop sensibilities, right? Yeah. So you get rock purists that are like, this is a bit too pop for my taste. And then you get pop purists who are like, this is too rock for my taste.
Yeah.
Fuck them.
You get some real, you get the really interesting, you get really interesting comments the more that it starts to reach more ears. You know what I mean? Like, that's always a really unique thing, or that when you obviously when you release a song, you want to submit it to the Spotify editorial lists and things like that. You get feedback.
Oh
back.
my gosh!
Or you send it to other people.
I hate
for
that
press
shit.
publications or whatever. And you get back comments that are
feedback.
Yeah, the feedback is always.
What gets me is those comments,
funny.
like you said, when you get a comment from a random person that they're like, "This sucks" or something like that, or the strings are flat. I'm fucking petty, right? So I'll click on their fucking profiles,
dude. Don't I too?
And 9 times out of 10,
comment I made last night.
9 times out of 10, it's a profile where their face is nowhere to be found,
bro,
and it's like AI artwork over their whole thing.
Yeah,
and I'm like,
it's a bot, like a meme bot page.
I'll do you one better. The guy who Dom just mentioned about, like he mentioned, like, oh, the vocals are a little flat.
Yeah.
Private account
every time.
Dog, like, it's hey, if you're gonna critique my stuff, well, put your shit out there too. Let me hear what you got.
Man
like,
up, Jeremy.
Yeah, let's hear it, James. Like,
what are you doing over there?
It's so funny, dude. It's so funny.
No,
I love it though, and
it's your like Lord of the Rings fucking profile picture, some shit like that. Like,
I love the trolls, man. I love the comments. I'm petty with it.
Yeah.
If you leave a comment on my shit, hating on my content,
yeah,
I will view your profile.
yeah.
Like I will.
Let's see what you're working with.
Yeah, what do you got going on?
Yeah.
What do you got going on?
Yeah.
I'm over here like, just delete that shit.
Like, straight
delete
up,
that
like,
fucking comment.
No,
before
No, I like leaving it up and leaving a comment or something. Say, well, can you?
You don't get to say that shit around here, Buster.
Before Dom and I started Wake the Nile, I had no social media. Right? I was just like, I was basically anonymous. And now I'm like out there, and like in the most out there way you can be, because it's like a private profile. It's like, oh, I'm just following my friends and just like like looking at what they do on vacation, like liking their kids when their photos when they have a kid or whatever the hell.
Yeah, I'm
like putting art out and like looking for opinions and like validation in the most like like in the most way. Like I'm graduating into an influencer, and now it's like
Wake the Nile Instagram influencers.
I went from like anonymous to like my shit and subscribe, please.
Yeah.
So it's like it's a challenge because like
I told him that when we got into this, I was like, look, man, this hiding in the dark shit is like it's not going to be that way for very long. So
but no, it's
that's
time
the
that
ban.
Personally,
we will start to develop a fan base of people who want to know us.
Is Don gonna join social media?
I am on social media.
Are you?
Well,
okay.
not like personally.
That's what I'm saying.
No, I'm not. I'm never. No, low-key, I'm okay. I don't know what it would take, but I don't see a world in which I have like a Don Instagram, a Don Facebook. Like it's not me. Like I've always felt like people only show you what they want you to see.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
And that you guys can agree to that. And so like in that regard, I'm like, okay, if you want to see who I am, then find me in the meat space.
Yeah. Like, subscribe. Let's go.
I
mean, I get on them all the time because at some point, we want people to know that we're still people. You know? At the end of the day.
Oh, Dom, I don't think we got to worry about that.
Ain't nobody got to worry about me for that. Yeah, we all know that there's very much people going on right in this part of the conversation. But him being the front of the project is like. I told him, and we've had this conversation. Like, you gotta you can't hide forever because what'll happen is
I ain't hide. I'm out here.
Here we go. Now we're getting into the fucking
He'll need to start making videos for the page saying, "Hey, what's up? It's Don from Wake the Nile." And I know that he dreads those kind of things like to the fullest, but that his connection with the fans and the connection with people in the music that realm. In itself will require that I can't like our persona is he's the guy with the microphone and I'm the guy with the drum set, right? My speaking gets done through this loud chaos on one side of the stage.
And I get to be out there.
Yeah, and he's the guy that's he's the guy with the microphone and the message. So that's what people are getting touched by. Music isn't, because your drummer was fucking good, which I wish it was. It'd be a lot more fun. No, I'm kidding. But it's more so about the man with the message and the microphone in his hand. And that's something that we talked about. Like, as the time progresses, we will need to get more personal. We will need to do things similar to podcasts, interviews, where they can hear his voice outside of just the singing realm and learn a little bit about the backstory of the both of us and where he's from and where I'm from. But on top of that, there will be a little bit of that limelight that doesn't necessarily require that you have your own, Facebook page where people can become a, Don Serwata fan page. But if the project does tend to grow, there will need to be more out of him that is less of me,
Okay.
And that's just the way it is, It can always be a pair, but not everybody's gonna fall in love with the guy that just slaps the fucking drums in the back.
Cool.
People do genuinely, we all know this. Just side with the guy with the microphone and the message.
Well,
no matter how much everybody is actively involved into that, like stirring the pot of that stew that you're making, the music stew you're making. Even if we all use the spoon and we all stir the pot ourselves, the person that's at the floor.
He's just getting on me right now.
I was about to say, before I start a fight between the band. No.
It's what's your your Instagram tell the whole world. It's Don Serwata at Don Serwata.
Well, fellas, what do y'all think we bang on some instruments?
Let's
a
do
little
that,
bit? Y'all
man.
wanna do that?
I'm fucking pumped to do that. Yeah.
See what's up? All right.
Yeah.
Guys, anything else before we wrap? Do y'all want to plug anything before we wrap? I mean,
Dude,
we
just
got Wake the
fucking like and
Nile.
subscribe, yeah.
Like and subscribe. Wake the Nile. Anything else y'all want to throw out there before we wrap the interview portion of the podcast?
I will say that we've got some new stuff in the works. If you're seeing this and you are a fan and you're just recently come into the ecosystem of the band itself, please stay tuned because there is new things coming, more personal material that's going to be happening with the band, more ways of getting to know us more personally, and on top of that, like I said, maybe potentially some new music before the album fully launches. So keep your eyes and ears peeled and ready to go. I think that's about it.
Cool.
Other than that, let's play some tunes.
Thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you for having us.
Little Cocktails and Chords. I forget what episode, but we'll figure it out after we wrap this.
Episode 42069.
42069, baby. Cool. Let's play some shit. I think Don ran to the restroom.
Yeah.
He didn't just bail on the pod. So.
Nah, he's out. He's like, he heard music and he ran.
All right. Hell yeah, man. Appreciate you, brother.
All right, brother.